Darci Lynn Farmer was the bright-eyed girl who made America believe in magic again. With nothing but a puppet, a song, and her gentle Oklahoma accent, she won hearts and headlines on America's Got Talent. Her voice and innocence seemed to heal a nation craving purity, joy, and wonder. Yet 8 years later, that dream has curdled into confrontation. The same stage that crowned her a superstar is now the center of a bitter legal fight, and the name on the lawsuit has shocked everyone. For years, Darci smiled through exhaustion, always grateful, always polite. But behind her cheerful performance was a silence heavy with things she could never say. Now, at 20 years old, she has finally broken that silence. In court documents that surfaced in 2024, she accuses one of the show's most powerful figures of mistreatment and emotional harm. The girl who once spoke through puppets is finally speaking for herself. The quiet Oklahoma girl who found her voice. Darci Lynn Farmer was born on October 12, 2004, in Oklahoma City, far from the blinding lights of Hollywood. Her parents, Clark and Misty Farmer, describe her as quiet, polite, and deeply introspective. She loved to sing around the house, performing for her brothers, yet the idea of standing on a stage terrified her. Singing was her escape, but her shyness kept her hidden. That changed at age 10 when she discovered ventriloquism. The dying art gave her a voice without exposure. She could speak without looking directly at the crowd. Her inspiration came from watching Terry Fader, the 2007 AGT winner, and she thought, if he could do it, maybe I could too. With her parents' support, she trained under young ventriloquist Lisa Bonaquisti, mastering timing, breath control, and character work. Her dedication was obsessive. She practiced for hours, perfecting her lips, tone, and voice. A meteoric rise, from talent shows to internet fame. Darci's first major breakthrough came in 2014 when she entered the Cinderella Scholarship Program and won the Mini Miss title. That same year, she performed at local fairs and talent contests, stunning audiences who couldn't believe such power could come from a child holding a puppet. 2 years later, she appeared on Little Big Shots singing "I Want to Be a Cowboy Sweetheart" with her cowgirl puppet, Katie. The clip went viral, gaining millions of views and turning the shy girl from Oklahoma into a national sensation. Her parents began homeschooling her to manage travel and appearances. In 2017, she auditioned for America's Got Talent Season 12 with her rabbit puppet, Petunia, singing "Summertime." The performance left judges speechless, and within hours, it became the most watched audition in AGT history. Mel B hit the golden buzzer. Simon Cowell called her once in a generation, and America's new star was born. From child star to industry product. When Darci won AGT in 2017, the applause seemed endless. Overnight, she became one of the most recognizable young performers in the country, a symbol of wholesome talent and innocence. But once the cameras stopped rolling, reality set in. The little girl with the puppet wasn't just a contestant anymore. She was a product of one of television's most powerful entertainment machines. By December, she was headlining her own tour, Darci Lynn and Friends Live, which expanded from 5 shows into a 52-city whirlwind. Tickets sold out in minutes. She appeared on Today, at the Grand Ole Opry, and at Rockefeller Center. NBC produced a holiday special, Darci Lynn, My Hometown Christmas, featuring stars like Pentatonix, Toby Keith, and Kristen Chenoweth. For a girl barely into her teens, the rise was unimaginable. Yet behind the glamour, her life spun out of control, and she struggled to keep up with schoolwork, rehearsals, interviews, and non-stop travel. The hidden cost of perfection and control. Every part of Darci's image was controlled. Her clothes, hair, tone, and even puppet dialogue were monitored and approved. A tour staffer described her as a kid trapped in an adult schedule. If she complained, people reminded her how lucky she was. The emotional strain deepened when her relationship with the judges shifted. Simon Cowell still praised her publicly, but Mel B, who once championed her, became distant. Behind the scenes, production whispers suggested criticism and tension. Moments that looked light-hearted on camera carried unseen pressure. During one taping, Darci joked through her puppet, "So guys, what part of I'm singing do you not understand? You just stand there with your mouths closed, like you always do." The audience laughed, but insiders said it was more confession than comedy. As years passed, Darci felt her voice being narrowed into a role she couldn't escape. The stage that once saved her now began to feel like a cage. The return and the breaking point. In 2023, Darci returned to the AGT stage for the Fantasy League season, hoping to reinvent herself. She left the puppets behind, picked up a guitar, and sang solo. Simon called her courageous, but others dismissed her as having lost her charm. For the first time since childhood, she felt invisible on the very stage that had once crowned her a star. The audience no longer saw the magical girl. They saw a young woman who no longer fit the child prodigy image. This became her breaking point. The decision to take legal action didn't happen overnight. It began with canceled meetings, denied creative control, and whispered criticism she wasn't supposed to hear. Darci had always been polite and eager to please, but years of being told to smile more and stay in her box began to break her down. In early 2024, she confided to a friend she felt used and invisible, and wanted to evolve into a musician, not a puppet. The lawsuit that shook the stage. By mid-2024, Darci's frustration reached a climax. Her lawyers filed a complaint citing emotional distress and professional misconduct. The name of the judge she accused was not revealed publicly, but sources hinted it was someone she once deeply admired, a mentor turned opponent. The filing alleged verbal harassment, intimidation, and career interference. Fans were stunned. How could the sweet, soft-spoken girl from Oklahoma be in a legal battle with a global franchise? But for those who knew her story, it wasn't shocking. Behind her innocence was a young woman finally demanding the respect she had been denied. "I used to feel so uninspired," she said in a brief interview later that year. "Now I'm ready to confront what hurt me." Those words spread across social media like wildfire. Darci wasn't suing for money. She was suing for her voice. For the first time, she was using it loudly. A pattern of controversy. Behind the glamour, Darci's case didn't emerge in isolation. It was part of a disturbing pattern of scandals surrounding America's Got Talent. Over the years, several contestants and crew members raised concerns about safety, exploitation, and emotional harm. The most shocking incident occurred in October 2021, when stunt performer Jonathan Goodwin nearly died during rehearsals for AGT Extreme. The stunt went horribly wrong, leaving him permanently paralyzed and with severe injuries. He later sued the show for gross negligence. In 2022, another lawsuit accused former host Tyra Banks of verbally and physically mistreating a child contestant. That same year, a wrongful death case resurfaced, involving a disabled audience member who died after being injured due to blocked access ramps. These cases painted a chilling picture, a show that valued spectacle over safety. Darci's lawsuit became more than personal. It became part of a broader question about accountability in reality television. The fallout, silence, isolation, and courage. When news of Darci's lawsuit broke, it sent shockwaves through the entertainment world. NBC and the show's producers released a brief statement denying wrongdoing and insisting they prioritize safety and well-being. But insiders described panic behind closed doors. The network feared a domino effect. If Darci spoke out, others might follow. After filing, Darci withdrew from interviews and social media. Friends said she was exhausted but relieved, finally unburdened by the secrecy she had carried for years. Instead of grand stages, she began performing quietly in small theaters and community venues in Oklahoma. The puppets stayed hidden in storage. Public opinion was divided. Some fans called her brave, while others accused her of ingratitude, claiming she owed her entire career to the show. But for those who watched her grow up, the transformation was heartbreaking. The girl who once stood trembling in front of millions had become a young woman speaking her truth, even if it came at a cost. Outro: the girl who learned to speak without puppets. As the lawsuit continued into late 2024, Darci's story shifted from headline to symbol. It became a mirror reflecting the realities of reality TV. Behind every standing ovation and golden confetti moment lay exhaustion, manipulation, and lost innocence. For decades, AGT built its empire on emotional stories, from children and ordinary people unprepared for sudden fame. Darci's case forced viewers to ask, what happens when the applause fades? Those close to her say the experience changed her completely. She stopped chasing perfection and began writing her own songs about control, pressure, and freedom. Industry insiders began to praise her courage, calling her lawsuit a turning point. By 2025, Darci returned to small-town stages, performing under her real name without spectacle. She no longer spoke through puppets. She spoke from pain, growth, and understanding. Darci Lynn Farmer's journey is no longer just the story of a girl who won AGT. It is the story of a woman who found her real voice after years of being told to stay quiet.